Good morning. It is Thursday, the 11th of December. I have got my artificial fire on because we will soon ban the real ones in the UK, my Christmas tree lights. I'm going to discuss, because it's, Christmas, the growing amount of illegal buildings, uh, supposed garages that in backs of gardens that are actually houses, and predominantly in ethnic areas throughout the UK. Not from personal experience, I've seen them. Um, when I stayed in the East End, up in East Ham, Plaistow, when I was working on the Olympics, I used to rent a room off a Turkish restaurant, and I was staying above the restaurant, and that's another story for a later date about the health violation. But they'd got an illegal building in what essentially was the remains of the backyard, and they built two kind of lean-to buildings which they were renting out to Turkish immigrants. And the one opposite was another restaurant. I say restaurant, like chicken shop, where they'd also done the same thing, but building control had eventually got hold of it, and it was an African woman living in that, and eventually it was forced to be demolished. But it had been ongoing for nearly a decade before they managed to get the order for it to be demolished. By which point they were milking in rent weekly, cash from these people, and I know how much they were getting paid, and it would pay them to do exactly what they did do. Also, also, I rented accommodation in Slough. I rented a room. Indian guy rented all the rooms out in the house. There's like 5 people staying in it. Again, they hadn't altered the house, so technically I've not really got an issue with it. But he'd bought a house from all his proceedings further down, and it was nice semi-detached with an old English family living next door. And he proceeded to build a massive garage in the back, which was set out to be basically a bungalow. No planning permission for being a bungalow, it was just going to become a bungalow. It altered the internals of the house and made a loft conversion. Terrifying structure, and it was all being built by illegal Sri Lankan immigrants, and to a very, very low standard. And I said to him, "Have you got planning permission for this loft?" And he looked at me askant and goes, "What's that?" But this is kind of right across the board. So